Water never fights. It never resists. Yet it can carve through mountains and destroy anything in its path. Around 2,500 years ago, an old man in China figured out something that most people still don't understand. He realized that the softest thing in the world can defeat the hardest. That weakness is actually strength. That trying less can get you more. His name was Lao, and what he taught about water might be the exact answer to whatever you're struggling with right now. Here's the thing. We're taught from birth to fight, to push harder, to force things to happen. You want something, go get it. Someone opposes you. Fight them. Life gets hard. Push through, be strong. Be tough. Never give up. Never surrender. But Lao Tzu watched water and saw something different. He saw that water doesn't push. It flows. It doesn't fight rocks. It goes around them. It doesn't try to be strong. It just moves naturally. And over time, that soft flowing water wears down solid stone. It creates canyons. It shapes the entire surface of the earth. So, he asked a simple question. What if humans worked the same way? What if the secret to strength wasn't force, but flow? Back in ancient China, this was a radical idea. This was a time of constant war. States fighting states, armies clashing. Everyone believed in power, control, and dominance. The strong survived, the weak died. That was just how it was. But Lao Tzu saw through it. He looked at nature and realized that nature doesn't operate on force. A tree doesn't force itself to grow. A river doesn't force itself to reach the ocean. Things happen naturally when you stop resisting and start flowing with what is. He wrote this all down in a tiny book called the Tao Te Ching. It's only about 5,000 words in the original Chinese. You could read it in 20 minutes, but people have been studying it for thousands of years because every line contains something that flips your understanding upside down. One of his most famous lines is this: "Nothing in the world is softer than water, yet nothing is better at overcoming the hard and strong. This is because nothing can replace it." Think about what he's saying. Water is soft. You can put your hand through it. A child can splash in it. It has no shape of its own. It takes the shape of whatever contains it. Weak, right, wrong. Water is the most powerful force on the planet. It carved the Grand Canyon. It erodes coastlines. It can flood entire cities. It can crush buildings with its pressure. And here's the key part. It does all of this without trying. It just flows. It just moves naturally. And nothing can stop it. Lao Tzu saw this and realized it was the secret to life. Don't fight reality. Flow with it. Don't resist change. Adapt to it. Don't force outcomes. Allow them to happen naturally. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people misunderstand what this means. They think Lao Tzu is saying be passive, be weak, let life push you around, give up on your goals, just accept everything and do nothing. That's not it at all. Water isn't passive. Water is incredibly active. It's constantly moving, constantly adapting, constantly flowing toward its destination. But it does it without resistance, without forcing, without fighting what is. There's this story about a master swordsman who studied Lao Tzu's teachings. One day, a younger fighter challenged him. The young guy was aggressive, strong, full of energy. He attacked with everything he had. But the old master just moved. He didn't block the attacks, he didn't fight back. He just flowed around them like water flowing around rocks. The young fighter exhausted himself, swinging at air. And when he was tired, the master gently pushed him over. That's what Lao Tzu meant. Flow like water doesn't mean do nothing. It means don't waste energy fighting what you can't change. It means adapt instead of resist. It means find the path of least resistance instead of forcing your way through walls. Lao Tzu also said this: the highest good is like water. Water benefits all things and does not compete with them. It stays in places that others reject. This is why it is so close to the way. Look at where water goes. It flows to the lowest point. The places nobody wants. The valleys, the ditches, the bottom. And that's exactly where it becomes most powerful. That's where it gathers. That's where it becomes rivers and lakes and oceans. What's he teaching here? He's teaching humility. He's teaching that you don't need to be at the top to be powerful. You don't need to compete for status. You don't need to prove yourself. Just be useful. Just flow to where you're needed. Just fill the spaces that others ignore. In another passage, he says something even more mind-blowing. He says, yield and you will be preserved whole. Bend and you will be straightened. Be empty and you will be filled. Be worn out and you will be renewed. This is the opposite of everything we believe. We think yielding means losing. Bending means breaking. Being empty means having nothing. But Lao Tzu is saying the opposite is true. A tree that's rigid breaks in the storm. A tree that bends survives. Water in a cup takes the shape of the cup. That's not weakness. That's adaptability. That's survival. Now let's bring this into your life. Because this isn't just ancient philosophy, this is practical wisdom you can use today. Think about the things stressing you out right now. Maybe it's a difficult person at work. Maybe it's a situation that won't go your way. Maybe it's a goal that feels impossible. Whatever it is, you're probably approaching it with force. You're pushing, you're fighting. You're trying to make things happen through sheer willpower. And it's exhausting, right? You're tired. You're frustrated. Nothing's working. And the harder you push, the more resistance you meet. That's because you're being rigid. You're being like stone, and life is like water. It finds the cracks and breaks you down. Lao Tzu would tell you to flip it. Be the water. Stop fighting. Start flowing. What does that actually mean? It means, if someone at work is being difficult, don't fight them, don't argue, don't try to change them. Just flow around them. Find another way. Adapt your approach. Let them be who they are while you stay focused on what you can control. It means, if a plan isn't working, don't keep forcing it. Adjust. Pivot. Find the path of least resistance. Water doesn't smash through a mountain. It finds the crack and flows through it. Be patient enough to find the crack. It means, if you're trying to build something, don't force it to happen on your timeline. Plant the seed, water it. Let it grow naturally. Forcing a plant to grow faster just kills it. The same is true for your goals. Here's a personal example. Say you want someone to change their mind about something. You could argue with them. You could push facts at them. You could try to force them to see your point. That's the rigid approach, and it almost never works. People just dig in harder. Or you could flow. You could listen to them. You could understand their perspective. You could ask questions instead of making statements. You could plant seeds of doubt in their current thinking and let them come to their own conclusions. That's the water approach. And it's way more effective. Lao Tzu also understood something about effort. He said, when nothing is done, nothing is left undone. This sounds like nonsense at first. But what he means is that when you stop forcing things, when you stop overdoing it, things actually get done more efficiently. Think about it. How much of your effort is wasted? How much energy do you spend worrying, stressing, overthinking, forcing, and fighting? What if you cut all that out and just did what needed to be done, naturally, without all the extra drama? you'd be way more effective. You'd be way less exhausted. You'd actually get more done while feeling like you're doing less. That's the power of flow. And here's the hardest part to accept. Sometimes flowing means letting go completely. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Just like water doesn't fight gravity, it surrenders to it. And that surrender is what gives it its power. If you're holding on to something that's hurting you, let it go. If you're fighting a reality you can't change, accept it. If you're forcing a relationship that doesn't work, release it. This isn't giving up. This is being like water. This is understanding that sometimes the strongest move is to flow away. Lao Tzu knew that most people would never understand this, because it goes against our instincts. Our ego wants to fight. Our pride wants to win. Our fear wants to control. But that's exactly what keeps us stuck. That's exactly what makes us weak. Real strength is soft. Real power is flexible. Real wisdom is knowing when to push and when to flow. And most of the time, the answer is flow. The hard things in life, the rock, the stone, the rigid structures, they all crumble eventually. But water remains. Water adapts. Water flows. Water wins. So the next time you're facing something difficult, ask yourself this: am I being stone or am I being water? Am I fighting or am I flowing? Am I forcing or am I allowing? Because the answer to your problem might not be more effort. It might be less. It might be surrender. It might be flow. Lao Tzu figured this out 2,500 years ago just by watching water. And it's still true today. The softest thing defeats the hardest thing, every single time. Subscribe for more ancient truths.